Oh my goodness. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is Strong Opinion Sports, episode 673. I hope you're doing very, very well. Good morning. It's kind of a weird episode today. I would almost even say it's an awkward recording time. I'm recording this on Sunday morning as a game is going on in London between the Jaguars and the Bears. The Bears are winning right now. Hilarious that the Jaguars are going to start 1-5, it looks like. Look, here's the deal. It's the rare weekend in the football landscape where, to me, college football steals the show. It's the way more interesting of the two major football leagues this weekend. College football, a couple of great games I want to talk about. The NFL, like Colts, Titans, Texans, Patriots. I don't know, man. I think, like, Commanders, Ravens is a great game. The primetime game tonight is Bengals at Giants. You know, I don't know. I just, great. But I did not want to wait until Tuesday to comment on what was an incredible weekend of college football. You know, Nathan and I record on Monday nights, and I can't wait to have Nathan on the show to talk about Oregon, for example. He's a huge Oregon fan, was on their campus at one point. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. In fact, Nathan sent me videos. He was front and center watching Oregon beat Ohio State. So, like, look, I can't wait to talk about that. Tuesday is a long time from now. It's Sunday. Let's talk about it. Let's jump into college football. So, the game of the weekend. Number 3 Oregon beat number 2 Ohio State in Eugene, Oregon, 32-31. I sent a text at halftime to Austin and Nathan. Austin was on the show Thursday. Nathan, the regular co-host Monday nights. Win or lose, at halftime I felt this way. Oregon really, really impressed me. They were hanging in the game. They were making plays, really challenging Ohio State. And ultimately, they would go on to win the game. It was a massive, massive victory for them. I also want to comment, I thought Oregon overcame a really early missed call on the opening drive for Ohio State. Ohio State goes down. They score a touchdown. There was an Oregon interception that did not count. That, like, hey, if Ohio State, hadn't gone really fast and run a play, that gets overturned. That's an Oregon interception. I thought the refs on the field missed it. Replay didn't get involved and make it, overturn the call. To me, that's an Oregon interception that did not get called. I thought, watching live, first drive of the game, you watch that happen, then Ohio State scores a touchdown. They're up 7-0. I'm like, oh no, that's going to hurt them. They needed a fast start. They needed a really, really good start to this game in order to beat Ohio State. They overcame that. They overcame a missed field goal. They overcame a bobbled snap and a missed extra point. Oregon made a lot of plays and overcame a lot of stuff to beat Ohio State. I was very, very impressed with Oregon in this football game. I'm not a homer. I live in the Northwest. I live in downtown Portland, Oregon. You'll never hear me being a fan of the hometown team simply because they're the team local to me. I'm just not that guy. I went to Washington State. I'm pretty famous for being, like, not a big fan of Washington State, not a big believer in their program. Bottom line to me, watching Oregon play Ohio State, the best players at Oregon outperformed the star players at Ohio State. And that's just fact. It was a massive win for Oregon. It was a legitimizing win for Oregon, where it's a win people are going to remember. And they got a fairly new head coach within the last couple of years, Dan Lanning. He's trying to establish Oregon. Remember, instead of putting his name in the hat and trying to go get other jobs at other colleges, Dan Lanning said, no, Oregon is where I'm planting my flag. This is where I want to be. This is where I think I can win a national championship. It's where I want to recruit. It's where I want to build a program. Dan Lanning said that. He's delivering on that. It's really, really cool to see. I love Dan Lanning. Awesome dude. Compelling guy. The passion he shows, the way he loves his players, it comes across on screen. I've heard that from people at Oregon. It's really, really cool. And I thought that, for a team in their first year in the Big Ten, beating Ohio State is everything, man. Like, this is a really big statement for Oregon. It's going to help with recruiting. It's going to help them gain respect nationally. This is a massive, massive victory for Dan Lanning in Oregon, and you can't discount that. It's a massive deal. Really, really happy for them. By the way, Oregon was shorthanded. No excuses for them. If they'd lost, you couldn't have leaned on this as the narrative, but they were missing their top pass rusher. They were missing 2 wide receivers. They had one of their receivers who had this idiotic move of spitting on a defender during the game, gets ejected from the game. It was with the context What a massive win for Oregon, and what an impressive win. They had one play that I don't know if it was on purpose or not. They had an onside kick where the kicker kicked it really hard into like the front up back on the return team for Ohio State. Bounces off an Ohio State player. Oregon quickly collects themselves and recovers the ball. It happened so fast. It's like, was that a plan? I don't know. Oregon was right there to scoop up the ball. I don't know how you plan that. Is a kicker good enough to kick into a player knowing, like, I just don't know you can plan that kind of onside kick. If it's by design, that's incredible design. If it's not, it's incredible luck. Either way, it gave Oregon an extra possession. It was huge. It was a massive momentum shift for Oregon. Ohio State's in trouble a little bit. They have a head coach, Ryan Day, who, I guess Ohio State's not in trouble. Ryan Day is in trouble. He's doing great with, if you take a step back and go, man, he's been to a national title. He's been to a lot of playoff appearances. He's 61-9 as a head coach. Like, that's not a bad record to be a head coach at almost any program in college football. However, here's the kicker with Ryan Day. He's 1-7 against top 5 opponents. That's not good enough at Ohio State. That's a problem. I worry for him. I think he's a great coach, doing a good job. I thought him hiring his former offensive coordinator at New Hampshire, Chip Kelly, was pretty cool. But we're waiting, and he struggled to beat Jim Harbaugh. He's 1-7 against top 5 opponents. Ryan Day continues to lose big games, and it's a bad look. And I worry for the sake of his job. I go, at some point, they're going to get tired of this. I thought this was the year. Jim Harbaugh's gone. It's your chance to win the Big Ten. That looks in jeopardy now. Penn State, Indiana, and Oregon are all 6-0. Ohio State is not undefeated. That's weird and awkward and not great. And at the end of the Oregon game, we saw some really bad clock management where a timeout wasn't called. A lot of time was allowed to leak off the clock. And then you got your quarterback, Will Howard, sliding, and taking a knee basically with no time on the clock. And I actually don't want to hate on Will Howard too much. Like, if he slides a second earlier, calls out timeout, they kick a field goal, maybe they win the game. It was margins, man. It was so close for Ohio State. But in the end, they come up short, and the result wasn't great. And watching was I've got a reminder, kind of a painful reminder. Remember this. The best quarterback in college football is Cameron Ward. He plays at Miami. He was courted by Ohio State to transfer there. Reportedly, Ohio State did not want to pay the asking price to land Cam Ward as a recruit. They were happy with Will Howard. Will Howard is a fine quarterback. Does a lot of good stuff. Really like him. Respect him. Cameron Ward is a superstar. I think the biggest missed opportunity this year at Ohio State, and if they do not win a national title this year, given the roster and the people they have, if Ohio State falls short of their goals this year, you got to look at the kid in Miami and go, why was he not wearing an Ohio State uniform? Why was Cameron Ward not there? The best quarterback in college football wanted to go there, and you didn't want to pay him. Weird. Very weird. Very short-sighted. A bad look to me. A huge misstep to me. I can't believe they didn't cough up the coin. It's worked out well for Cameron Ward. He looks like a Heisman Trophy finalist. Him or Ashton Jeanty are probably going to win the Heisman. But refusing to pay the asking price for Cameron Ward, I think, is going to come back to haunt Ohio State. Their coach is 1-7 against top 5 opponents. 61-9 as a coach. Not a bad record, but you keep losing the big ones, and it's a problem. Dan Lanning made a statement at Oregon. Congratulations to him. I love Dan Lanning. I really do. I don't know, man. I'm not an Oregon fan. They're the team local to me, and it's cool to see that team do well. And also to have a coach. I really admire a coach like Dan Lanning who isn't looking ahead to the next opportunity, but goes, you know what? I got it good here. Got a lot of money. Got a great facility. Got great uniforms. I'm in the Big Ten. How about I just build it where I am rather than try to leapfrog like so many coaches do in college football? Oregon's right on the edge. Are they a blue chip team? Are they not? They're not Michigan. They're not Texas. They're not Alabama. They're trying to be. And they're right on the edge. Oregon really is. They're trying to upgrade and elevate themselves into that level, that caliber of college football program. That's Dan Lanning's mission, and beating Ohio State in Eugene is step one of that mission. You're 6-0 in the Big Ten. What a victory, dude. I thought it was going to be kind of a blowout. I was wrong. It's very cool to see. Congrats to Dan Lanning. You love to see it. It was a great game. Nathan, our other co-host, we'll talk to him I'll talk to him Monday night. You'll hear from him Tuesday morning. He was there in the stands, sending me videos. Dude, I can't wait to hear his take on the game, what it was like to be there live and to talk about the things that are meaningful to him. As a huge Oregon fan, he's going to have even more insight, I'm sure, and even more things that are important to him. But we'll have a long conversation about this game Monday night. That'll come out Tuesday.